Tech is boosting the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. We're at new records. The NASDAQ is aiming for what would be its 8th positive session of the last 9. And this morning, this is as the U.S. lifts export controls on chip design software to China. Who are the companies that play here? Cadence Design, Synopsys, Siemens also getting a lift. Joining us now to discuss, Moor Insights founder and chief analyst Patrick Moorhead. Patrick, obviously we can see it's good for some of these names. Is it a conclusion that they will be beneficiaries from now going forward?
It certainly is not. It certainly is a good thing today. And I think we all hope that we can get the trade challenges with China completely closed, but I think this is going to be a little bit of a long road. I do feel very comfortable, though, about these stocks in that the quid pro quo, the mineral rights versus EDA software tools, that's pretty much been put to bed. Unless the wheels fall off in an overall trade deal with China, I think things are looking pretty good for them.
Right. So they're going to be much better on the rare earths, and now they're getting this in return. Anything else implied here? I think, Jim Cramer earlier was at least hoping perhaps that the next step would be NVIDIA chips being able to enter the market again in a more significant way. Is that a fair assumption, or is that just hopeful thinking?
I think it is getting warmer. I think the chill is still there. I do not think that NVIDIA will ever be able to sell their highest end chips, but I think that's okay. They hadn't been selling their highest end chips for years, but at least getting a tuned down version of Blackwell, I think we should be optimistic about that moving forward. And every step that we take and any agreement that we can do with China, I think bodes well for all markets, not even technology markets related to China.
But what about all the security concerns? The whole reason we had these controls in the first place. Don't you have concern? I mean, Cadence is a big partner with NVIDIA.
Yeah, they are, and I think a tuned down chip, meaning a chip that might be 20% of the capabilities that a leading edge NVIDIA chip, the amount of work they can get done, I think ultimately they can get it done, but they can also get it done with Huawei. And I think the last thing we want is to be funneling Chinese companies who want tuned down NVIDIA chips to be funneling money to a Huawei that can essentially use it to build even bigger chips and someday potentially be more in competition with NVIDIA. I think it's a good play to have them close, not completely hugging each other, but at least keeping our quote unquote enemies close to us.
Well, on that note, Patrick, I mean, do you think this is a kind of question more about the last decade across multi-administrations? Has the policy of containment worked?
I can argue both sides. What's happening is because China has an unending supply of energy, and they found a way to pull together lower performing chips and just throw more chips at the same problem. In a sense, it has not. And if we look at the innovation funnel, now DeepSeek that work was done flat out on NVIDIA H100s or H200s. So our ability to contain it so far has been a complete failure, and either chips have gotten through or Chinese have been using cloud services in different countries, or China has just thrown more energy and more chips at the same problem. Nothing has worked so far, and I'm skeptical that it ever will.
Yeah, the race continues. Patrick, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.